Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope everybody can hear me. You can see me. You can smell me. No, I'm just kidding. Um, Welcome to the channel. I know this is a little unexpected. Normally, I go live every Sunday around 3 p.m. But by the way, tomorrow we're going to be live pretty early, 12 p.m. start. Um, it's going to be an hour live stream from 12 to 1. Um, so it is what it is. I have some plans I have set up for me and my fiance. We're gonna have a nice Sunday together, and yeah, just enjoy the rest of the weekend. But today's topic, as you can see in the title, um, geez, if I'm freezing up for some reason, this was just a speedy live stream. So I had to set up everything, and I wanted to do it now before I, you know, continue my day. I have some errands to run and stuff, so I'm gonna spend for a few minutes on this topic. Um, what I was gonna do? What I was gonna do here? Oh, so again, my name is Jonathan. I'm an electrician here in the great city of New York, in the five boroughs. I live in Staten Island, New Dorp, Staten Island, and I've been doing this for 8 years now. I'm 8 years in, and I am mechanic mechanic level. Um, the topic we're talking about, as you see, it's called. This is a job site talk. So just once in a while, I'm gonna do video, streams like this, and we'll talk about certain topics. So in this topic is about expectations of an electrical helper slash apprentice. So that's coming up right after the intro. So guys, don't go anywhere. Especially you apprentices out there. This is detrimental right now for you to sit here. And you probably went through other channels like Electrician U. Electrician U's got an awesome channel. Dustin Stelzer is fantastic guy. Saw his live stream yesterday. Funny as hell. Awesome dude. Very knowledgeable. So I suggest if you want to even know more about being an expectation of being a helper, you can go also to his channel as well. There's other different channels. We also got Donald Miller of Donald Miller Electrical Services in who was from Pennsylvania. He specializes in knob and tube wiring in residential homes. Don't ask me why he does. Check out his channel. His channel is amazing. He's got some really great advice. So if you want more in-depth like knowledge and advice on how to become a helper and a paid mechanic and what the expectations of you becoming also as a mechanic in a mechanic level and expectations of you from a company, go check his channel out. It's Donald Miller Electrical Services on YouTube. All right. So, uh, whew, man, let me run the intro before we get started on this conversation. Welcome back. We're back. We're back. We're back. Awesome. Listen, um, I know I said before we get started, I'm gonna run the intro, but also, um, I'm just gonna, let you know, when I first started as an apprentice or slash helper, in this trade. Now, before I started in the electrical trade, I was in HVAC. My first trade was HVAC. Okay, I did 3.5 years HVAC work as an apprentice, but I had a lot of expectations of me from my journeyman, from my employer. All right. Now, HVAC is something different from electrical. All I'm saying is that when I started HVAC, I went to school. I went to trade school. Now, some of you guys will say, "Oh, why did you go to trade school? You wasted money." Sure, that was, you know, I figure I get a jump start rather than learning in the field. But you know, you choose your battles, pick your poison, all that stuff. If you rather go to trade school and learn to an extent where you can learn technical things, technical terms, and understand how to calculate loads, or if you're in HVAC, you can calculate temperature and pressure temperature differences, and um, you know, in refrigeration and air conditioning. You want to learn how to do duct work. You want to learn calculations how to size duct work, or in the electrical, you want to learn wire fill, conduit fill, voltage drop. You know, calculation, Ohm's law. You can learn also basic electricals in HVAC. When I went to trade school, I learned basic electrical theory. Okay, they give you where I went to Lincoln Technical Institute in Union, New Jersey. Okay, and I was living here in Staten Island at the time. Um, my dad, my father went to the school. He got certified. He got his EPA, but he really didn't go any further with it. Because of the industry, how it was, and every 3 years, every 2 to 3 years, HVAC technology, it just keeps stepping up, increasing, gets more sophisticated, and has to do with a lot of training. You got to get constant training in HVAC. As for me, I did to an extent where, in New York City, it's seasonal. Um, H Air conditioning is massive here in New York City. So if you are starting out as an HVAC apprentice slash helper, either you're just going into the trade and learning under a journeyman, or you're coming out of school. Um, Please listen to your journeyman. Listen to the person that has more experience, because he's gonna guide you. He's gonna help you. He's gonna guide you and teach you things you haven't learned. If you're coming out of school, he's gonna teach you things they never even taught you in school. Okay, I learned by keeping my mouth shut and paying attention to what my journeyman was doing. Okay, if I had any questions, I asked questions. I wanted to learn. Okay, I was hungry. 20 years old, I was hungry. Okay, I went to trade school at 19, got out. 11 months later, got out. It was an 11-month course for HVAC. Got out and started. I mean, I didn't go right away to a company. It took some time. It took about almost a year till I found a legit company. And when I did, I was so eager and hungry. I wanted to learn this. I got my foot in the door, and I needed to get as much information as possible. Okay, I asked questions. I was told what to do, how to do it, and not argue with my journeyman. Okay, now you're gonna come across at times you're gonna come across some really shady journeymen or guys who claim they're electricians. If you are watching this, okay, electricians or HVAC technicians for that matter. If you are watching this and you want to get to learn how to HVAC, fine, learn it. You can learn this through textbooks. So when you go to school, they give you a number of textbooks, because you get one day, you get like a month of theory, and then, well, basically it's both theory and hands-on. When you enter a trade school here in New York City, for instance, Apex Technical School, I learned electrical and advanced electrical course. There was one day you come in, there was one day of theory. The next day you got hands-on. The next day after that you got theory. So basically it's like Monday you got theory, Tuesday is hands-on, Wednesday you got theory, Thursday is hands-on, and Friday you have theory. And that was it. I was full-time and I was unemployed. How I got to that point where I decided to switch trades was because, HVAC wasn't cutting it for me for a time, and I felt like I was just sort of thrown around, or I was just basically, working for a company for the summer, then laid off around September or October, and there was no heating job. The company would just strictly do air conditioning, sometimes heating, but there wasn't a lot of heating calls. If you're lucky, you end up with a company that does both heating and air conditioning, and they have work all year round. They got service contracts. You know, these are things that you need to look out for as well. Do your research on employers, okay, as a helper slash apprentice. Now let's get back to the point. You're starting out. You get into a company. Let's switch gears to electrical now. For me, as HVAC wasn't cutting and it was seasonal, I was collecting unemployment. I was only getting $90 and $91.50 every week from unemployment. Um, I decided I wanted to go to trade school. I was sitting on a train. I was with my dad. We're talking about the HVAC trade and how I was having difficulty looking for another job after I got laid off. So I see this ad and it says Apex Technical School, and they're located in Manhattan on 6th Avenue and West 19th Street. And they're not there anymore, by the way. They relocated to Long Island City, Queens. Um, so when it was in the city, I said, man, I was more in line towards electrical as well as HVAC, because when I first started doing HVAC, I was wiring motors. I was literally with a journeyman that would troubleshoot a motor, wire it up, we leave, and I would watch how he was wiring it up. But I wouldn't try to say, "Hey, I think you're doing that wrong." Because if I said that, they would tell me, "You don't know nothing," right? So this journeyman I was with, uh, he basically wired it wrong. There was a wiring diagram there. He didn't. I don't think he actually didn't know how to read a wiring diagram. He just knew this stuff by experience. But he made the mistake by wiring it in reverse, the condenser fan motor, and the hot air was literally being just sucked in, and the compressor was cutting off on high pressure every minute or every few seconds. So, the boss got upset with him, said, "What's going on? Why? Blah, blah, blah. You got to go back there." Zayfaya, where the hell is my coffee? I said 3 creams. Oh, man. So, boss got angry, told him to go back. We had to call back. My journeyman looked at me and said, "You go in there and do it. I see how you you looking at the wiring schematic. You go in there, figure it out." I went in there. I wasn't cocky. I was pretty nervous because it was the first time I actually now in the field working on an equipment, you know. And this guy just blatantly said, "Go in there and fix it," because we had a conversation on the way there. I was like, "Dude, I think I don't want to overstep. I don't want to offend you. I know you're the journeyman, you know your stuff, but I really honestly think, and I think, just take this, once in a while, once in a while, journeyman has to hear an apprentice out if he sees something wrong, you know, and it doesn't hurt. But sometimes it's about pride and expectations and all that crap." So he was pretty prideful, and I said, "Listen, I don't mean to offend you in this way. I know you're doing this for years, but I think you might have rewired the condenser fan motor wrong." So that's when he was like a little bit, it's like, "Oh, okay, if that's what you think, you go do it." I went in there with my tools, got in there, shut the power off. I did procedure, what I was trained in school, the basics, the fundamentals. Went in there, disconnected it, removed the cover, pulled out the motor, all the wiring, and I saw that he actually did. I read the wiring diagram. I think it was like a red and yellow or purple and blue wire. He had them all in reverse in the terminal, so I followed the wiring diagram. Boom, boom, boom. Put everything back together. Switched on, put back the disconnect, turned on the unit, and sure enough, hot air was blowing right outward. He had it coming inward into the unit. You have to put it in forward. He had it in reverse. So I had it in forward position. It was blowing the hot air. I stood there for maybe an extra an extra like 2-3 minutes to see if it'll cut off on high pressure. Um, and sure enough, nothing happened. Didn't cut off. You know, it was wrong. I walked into the lobby, checked the air. I felt cool air coming through. It was awesome. And I felt really good about doing that. I was like, wow, I felt proud of myself. Like, well, I really went in there and did it, because I trusted what I saw. I trusted the knowledge that I had. Now, if you're a helper and you're coming in, you have no idea how to wire a motor. It's okay to, it's okay to watch your journeyman to do it, but make sure he's a really good competent one. Because if he's not and he gets a call back, it's pretty embarrassing on his part because you're with him. He's like, damn, I'm embarrassing myself in front of this kid. I should know better. This guy didn't really care. He didn't really care. So to me, it was like he didn't really care to teach me because he actually wanted to do things himself and just had me like wait in the van. Oh, here, sit in the van. I don't want to pay for parking. Whatever. And that's what it was. And once in a while, I go in and watch him troubleshoot stuff and then learn that way, Hey, Dibs is here. What's up, Dibs? The Brit is here. Bad news. So, look, you're going to run into journeymen that are really shady, really crappy. They don't want to teach. And, your job at this point is try to learn as much. If you can't learn from that journeyman, you're wasting your time. Okay? Now, you must be thinking, well, how do I go about, like, getting away from that journeyman? Talk to your supervisor. Tell him, hey, I feel like he's not really teaching me anything. When you do that, yeah, they're going to talk to them. And yeah, that journeyman may be in a bad mood and say, well, that's BS, I'm teaching the kid. In reality, he's not. You're telling him, listen, I didn't learn anything. I'm being honest with you. He may be lying and say, yeah, he's teaching me stuff, but I haven't learned a damn thing. I was like that with my supervisors. My journeyman will get a little upset. Yeah, he'll take it out. But you know what? That's his job. If my supervisor says, hey, teach this kid something, and he doesn't want to, and all he does is just like keep me in the van, I'm going to tell my supervisor, yeah, this is what I'm learning. Staying in the van to prevent from parking tickets. I'm not learning anything. That means my supervisor is wasting money on me to sit in a van. That's not how it should be. Okay? Get a really good pair. Hopefully that I'm going to point this out also to supervisors. Please, if you're hearing stuff from like apprentices that your journeyman, your top guy isn't teaching new apprentices or helpers in this trade, in this industry, in your business, that should tell you he does not have the ability to teach a new generation of apprentices, of technicians. Okay? Especially in the electrical trade. You got an electrician who doesn't want to teach a young guy coming in. You're hearing this from like multiple, not just one, two, multiple apprentices say, hey, this guy's not teaching me anything. I feel like I'm not learning nothing. Like all I'm doing is learning to sit in the van and help him sit in the van and not get tickets, or just passing them tools. Yeah, I'm learning something about tools, but I'm not really getting to learn the stuff I want to learn, or that's, things like that. Then yeah, he's going to, you as a project manager, a supervisor, or a CEO should say, damn, I'm wasting time with this guy. This guy really doesn't want to teach the new hirees. Find a mechanic, find a journeyman in your business, in your company that's willing and capable of teaching a new hiree. Okay, a guy coming in from either fresh from school or fresh from this, like, just has no clue about electrical, okay, or HVAC. Let me go to the comments real quick here in the chat. Zafiel says, that's my expectation. Bad news, the Brit is here. Zafiel says, I'm of the opinion time in the field and number of years in the industry is a big problem. People work and learn at different speeds. That's true. You should be able to become a master electrician overnight if you can pass required tests. I wouldn't know. I haven't taken any tests. Like here in New York City, they don't You're only allowed to take one test, and that's the master contractor's test, or for a master electrician. If you want to like open up a business and be licensed to work in New York City, um, that's the test you have to take here. Upstate New York is different. Yo, what's up? Teal Vision's here. What's up, buddy? Upstate New York is different. They do give out. They do take. It's required if you want to like be a journeyman, a licensed journeyman. You take a licensed journeyman exam in upstate New York. Basically, you can open up a business, but work for yourself. You cannot hire apprentices. You can't hire mechanics. You can't hire anyone. You basically are lone wolfing. Okay. Now, if you want to be a licensed contractor in upstate New York, you take the master electrician's exam. Then you get fully insured, you get licensed, fully insured, and you can hire, a, you know, whoever you want to hire, and that knows the trade. But other than that, yeah, it's. I mean, it's not overnight. It's like I've done 8 years. Usually, it's a 7.5 year requirement to take the master electricians, but I haven't really covered everything electrical in my career so far. I haven't really I haven't done industrial electrical work because that's what's included in I think in the electrical exam, master electrician's exam. Oh, sorry. There are some things I haven't really experienced yet. For instance, like installing ATS switches, which ATS stands for automatic transfer switch for emergency power. Um, haven't terminated or installed emergency generators as yet. That's something that I'm trying to get myself, to be working on. I haven't really gone over as much as I know some basic electrical calculations like Ohm's law, a little bit of theory. I know a little bit of theory, which I'm now extending my studies from by this guy right here. By the way, if you're an apprentice, you're making some good, decent amount of money, but you want to learn more about theory. You want to get into the electrical industry. Okay, I'll show you right now. Get this book. This is Mike Holt's Basic Electrical Theory. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see it. Yes, this book, you can buy it, the book itself, for like $50 to $60 on his website, or you can get the entire set, the book with 3 DVDs, for like I think it's like $226. Or you can actually email his office and you can get the book, and then you can slowly get the DVDs later on, because the DVDs and the book, they work brilliantly together. I mean, book is great. Book is great to have, but it's better if you get the DVDs. You get a full understanding about his books, because there's some things in the book that there are some things in the DVDs that are not in the book. So check them out. Also, once you learn your electrical theory, okay. Whoa, keep kicking this. I keep kicking this thing. You want to learn grounding and bonding. Grounding versus bonding, Article 250 in the NEC code book. When you have this book also, but this is like basically down the line. When you're in the electrical industry, you don't want to learn everything electrical. As you make money, you're going to want to invest in your education, okay? You want to get not only the grounding and bonding book, you also want to get an NFPA 70, which is the National Electrical Code book. I'm going to tell you right now. You see how my code book is? I got a little sticker, Ohm's Law sticker. I got tabs on all the articles. I can quickly go to that article or chapter and find out, like, hey, I want to learn article, what's on Article 250, grounding and bonding. It's here. I can quickly tab it. Versus bonding or grounding and bonding. Right here, boom. Grounding and bonding, Article 250, right? It's huge. The article's huge. I got all my stuff highlighted. I'm coordinating with Mike Holt's grounding versus bonding 2014 version of. This is the 2014. It doesn't really matter, I guess, at this point, but here in New York City, we basically follow 2008. We are on the 2011 New York City Electrical Code. So the city has its own codes, which is also following 2008 NEC. So New York City has not we're supposed to be in 2014, but now we're in 2021. So upstate New York is now adopted 2017. If you go on the nfpa.org website, I have the links right there below in the description box. You can check it out. You can also go to check out mycole.com. But anyways, back to the whole, the expectations of an apprentice. Now, you want to invest in yourself. You want, to get educated, get those books, learn theory, learn grounding versus bonding, get a clear structure of what you want to know about the electrical industry, and know your codes too. Get yourself a code book. Another thing. Now, this is for like the guys who did not go to trade school. Now that part is for you guys. Like, you make your money, you learn what you can from your journeyman, learn as much. But if you got more questions, you want to invest in education, check out my cult. Educate yourself. Get the DVDs. They're a little pricey, but take your time. You don't have to go buy them all at once. You can communicate with his office, and they can send you individual quotes. Okay. Now, for you apprentices that are coming out of trade school, especially, and I for one, I went to 2 trade schools. Okay, I went for HVAC, made me some money, and I went for electrical. Okay, I paid off my loans for at Apex Technical School pretty quickly. Within a year and a half, I paid it off. Okay, I'm still paying for my private loan for Lincoln Tech for HVAC. So that was a big screw up, and I didn't expect that coming. Even the paperwork, and it's a lot of issues with that. But at this point, I'm still paying for it. But it's not too bad. I'm paying it like what I can, whatever. But word to the wise: if you're gonna go to trade school, research your trade schools. Okay, those of you want to go to trade school and learn this. Okay, in advance to towards a helper who just comes off the street. Try to look around, do your research, make sure every school's like the schools are legit. Make sure even if you're at a job, like you working fast food, you want to learn a trade, I would suggest save as much money to the side if you want to go to trade school. Put money to the side, okay? Make sure you have some money there, because while you're in trade school, there's some trade schools who would say, like, listen, you need to borrow a loan or whatever, you borrow a loan, or they'll tell you, well, while you're here, you have to pay as you go. Or you sign a form, an agreement saying that if their deal is, hey, we're going to pay, you're going to start paying us 6 months after you graduate. Here's the form, here's the agreement, this is what you agreed on. 6 months after you graduate from here, you have to start making payments. Make sure it's legit and you sign it, okay? After that, keep saving money. If you got a part-time job, going to a trade school, whatever, do what you got to do. But learn this stuff, all right? Now, for you trade school guys, after you get out of trade school, you're coming in fresh from trade school. You're like, yeah, you feel like you know it all. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna be the man in this trade. I'm now like, I should be making like 25 an hour, 22 an hour, 28, somewhere around the range. I'm gonna be a mechanic when I'm just gonna like bull crap my way into that interview. Here's the thing. There's a big difference. Okay, here's a big difference. All right, when you come out of trade school and start working in the real world. Okay, in the real world of this trade. Now, I work with guys who came out straight out of trade school. They tell me, yeah, I went to Apex. This is my first company, or this is my second company. I work with guys who say, man, I deserve to get paid more. I don't know why I'm doing this. Like, it's like, why am I organizing material? This is crap. This is why I'm getting paid. Like, I should get paid more than if I'm organizing material. Listen to me, okay? Or, oh, I'm strapping MC wire on the wall. We give you a task. I've seen guys, when I give apprentices tasks straight out of school, they look at me like, man, this is crap. Listen, you want to do electrical work, all right? You came here to build a career. You came here to get experience, to become an efficient electrician, like a proficient electrician in everything. You came here to do electrical work and learn it from mechanics and journeymen and your foreman. All I hear are complaints. Complaints that irk me. Like, I won't show it to them. They like, I hear them. They talk under their breath. I hear them like, man, they don't pay me enough to organize material. They don't pay me enough to strap wires. Listen, it's all part of the electrical industry, okay? In the electrical trade. You're gonna start off at times, especially if you're in the union, you're gonna start off like in local 3 or local 363 unions. You're gonna start off being the guy, that apprentice that is gonna organize material. Because when you come in, sure, you may from trade school. When you come in from trade school, sure, you may know some of the material. You may know what a 1900 box is. It's a 4-inch by 4-inch box. You may know what a 411/16 box. You know what a BX connector is. You know what a MC connector is. You know what a Romex. You know what a Greenfield connector is. Okay. You know what Greenfield is. Greenfield is just a term that we use for flexible metal conduit. You know what liquid seal tight conduit is, or flexible liquid seal tight. But there's some material you may not have come across learning about in trade school. For instance, for me, I learned the basics. I learned the basic material. I started to learn more about certain terms, certain slang, like raised plaster rings. In the trade, we call them mud rings, or raised covers. What else? We even learned how to call MC connectors. They're literally called saddle connectors for a reason. They're much better than BX connectors. BX connectors, if you know, we rarely use BX anymore. It's now MC, metal clad cable. It's basically like an aluminum soft metal jacket. Looks almost near exactly like BX, but it's more interlocked and you can break it easily with your hands. You don't have to use a roto split. Now, here's another thing, a term, roto split. When I was in trade school, we learned nothing but use a roto split to cut through AFC cable, armored flexible cable, okay, which is BX. It was a much harder material, harder to bend and break. You literally had to use a roto split. It's a little miniature saw, like a little blade that makes a little slit, helps you twist and break the BX, and then you can put in your bushing, your connector, and that's it. Now the BX connector is a little connector, a 3/8 of an inch size, has a little set screw. That set screw helps bond to the outer jacket, the armored jacket of that BX cable, to create a bond for grounding. Like you have a bonding, also you got a little bonding strip or bonding wire. You're supposed to wrap it around. That's your ground. Okay. If you learn that while you're in trade school using BX, wait till you start using MC. It's a different cable. We don't use BX as I barely see BX anymore in New York City. Okay. We use MC. It's easier. It's more flexible. It's easier to break. It's faster installation. You're going to learn how to use saddle connectors, because when I was in trade school, all I learned was how to use Romex connectors and BX connectors. We didn't have saddle connectors, or MC connectors, we call them. Saddle connectors are MC connectors. They have one set screw, has a little clamp, kind of like a Romex, but it pushes pressure on the MC connector without breaking it. If you put it too tight, yeah, you could break it, but once it's like a little finger tight or so, you're good. You still have a bond to it. You're basically connecting, you're bonded. Once you have grounding and bonding, that comes into play. So yeah, that's what that is. That's called a saddle connector or MC connector. You're gonna learn these stuff because that's the first time. It's like, wow, saddle connector. I never used it before. And then when I started using them, I found out I was like, wow, there's so much way better, way easier than a BX connector. You're gonna learn how important it is to ground. Your ground devices, ground equipment. You're gonna, when I started learning material. as I went. I was learning material, and I was putting up and installing 1900 deep boxes in the ceiling to put in as splice boxes for fluorescent fixture lighting in a cellar in somewhere in Midtown. I worked with a good foreman. It was just me and him. You know, he taught me how to use a line laser. You know, because you don't use a line laser in trade school. They don't teach you that. They don't teach you how to use power tools. Me, for instance, I already knew how to use a power tool. And I knew how to use an impact driver. I knew how to use a drill driver. I didn't know how to use a hammer drill. So I was taught how to use a Bosch hammer drill, you know, by my foreman. You're going to have foremen who are going to literally care enough to, hey, you know, sometimes sit you down, talk about code, or sit you down, talk about, hey, this is how you use this drill. You know, they're going to show you how to use a power tool. You know, they're going to show you, you know, how far deep you got to drill in to concrete or to that surface, and, you know, how to use a wall plug, or what we call them here in New York City, we call them blues and screws. They're plastic blue conical anchors with the metallic screws. Well, we call them blue and screws because the anchors are blue, you know. Plastic anchors are blue, so we call them blues and screws. You're gonna teach you that. They're gonna teach you how to, you know, how far you gotta drill in because of the size of the screw and the anchor. You know, they're gonna teach you how to be organized. You know, I had a foreman who came in and said, hey, you know, when you come in, you know, every day you come in, you need to set up for me. You need to set up for the guys, the crew. You're organizing the material. At the end of the day, you need to put all these power tools away. You need to organize all this material and put it away and lock it up for us. And we leave. I've seen, when I was working, where I work now, I work with apprentices. Some apprentices that we would give them tasks. And my foreman would give them a task, tell them, hey, you're in charge. You're going to learn this. Sometimes you're going to learn the material. You're going to help this guy. You're going to do what he says and this and that. And they would just be like, no, man, I don't want to do this. I want to do electrical work. You are doing electrical work. Whether you don't realize it or not, you are. The reason why we put you guys, apprentices or helpers, in that position, especially, and this is going, like I said, for the apprentices coming out of trade school, we put you in here because you're going to learn how to be organized. You're going to learn how to be efficient. You're going to learn how to be, like, you're just going to be learning material. You're going to learn this stuff because if you don't learn it, if you don't even know what a Romex connector is, and your mechanic keeps telling you, hey, give me that Romex connector. We're doing temp lighting. Give me that Romex connector. He constantly tells you what Romex connector, and he shows you what it is, and you still don't know. You're not paying attention because you're just worried about the money. You're worried about, oh, I'm worth this, I'm worth that, when you're not really focused at the task at hand. If you want to make money, you want to make $200 a day, okay? First thing you need to do, okay, is to throw off the thought that you're going to start off with $20, $25, $28 an hour, okay, or $21 an hour, or $18 an hour, okay? Here in New York City, now the minimum wage is $15 an hour, okay? It used to be $12 in this industry as well. Now it's $15. So that's a big bump up. You're starting at $15 an hour. That's pretty good. That's not bad. You know, when I started in this trade, I started at 10 an hour. At the time, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't enough to pay the bill. So I was still living with my old man at the time. Okay, I had some support. I had a support system. Okay, my dad encouraged me. You know, you need to have a support system, whether it's, you know, and don't rely on the support system in the company you work for. Okay, because you're an apprentice, you're starting off, you don't know nothing. You may think you know something when you're in trade school. You're learning basic, but when you come into the industry itself and realize you don't know jack squat. At this point, when you come into a company, get hired, all what you learn in trade school, throw it out the window. Okay? My expectations of that was when I started at trade school in electrical, I already had the mentality of like, yo, I'm going to learn all this stuff. But I know for a fact it's going to be way different when I'm in the field because I already had the experience in the HVAC industry. It goes the same way. You know, HVAC and electrical go hand in hand. So I already had the experience of like to know what to expect and what the employer expects of you. I went to Apex. I made friends. Cost of living in New York City is crazy. So you really have to, if you're like a real, I'm gonna excuse my language. If you're a real bullshitter and you walk and you coming in and you know you're pretending to be something you're not, and you lie, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna make 28 an hour. I just lied to my boss. He hired me to make $28 an hour. This is nothing. I'm telling you right now, that's mechanic pay right there. Okay, that's close to mechanic pay. You're gonna be like, you're gonna show up to a job site. The foreman's gonna say, all right, what do you know? And if you're gonna bullshit him too, and he puts you on that task, he's going to expect a lot from you. He's going to expect you to finish that task. Okay. He puts you on conduit bending. Yo, you got to bend some 3/4 conduit. I need you to run it from this trough or raceway over to this panel, or, you know, from this trough over to this sub panel. And you don't know your calculations or your pipe bending skills. You don't have any pipe bending skills. You're going to lie to him. He's going to know right away that you're taking so long and you're still up. Like, I've met an apprentice where he said, yeah, I know how to bend. Well, not an apprentice really, but he was a mechanic. He's been doing this for 15 years. I'm not going to say who he is, his name, but I work with the guy. He said he used to work for the company for so long. And, you know, I met him at a job. I was at a university along with another mechanic. Told me that he's been doing this for 15 years. He says he's the foreman, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, I took his word for it. And I started noticing things right away about him. Even though he did have the basic skills. He knew how to wire a light fixture. He knew how to wire a switch. He knew how to wire outlets. You know, but his punctuality started really showing. Like, he wasn't, it just decreased. Like, he would show up 2 hours late, an hour to 2 hours late, leave an hour to 2 hours early. You know, then it came to conduit bending. We were just doing 1/2-inch EMT. Stuff is easy to bend. Okay? It's easy to install, easy to bend, easy to calculate measurements and take ups and you know, and shrinkage. And the guy, I told him, listen to two of the mechanics, and I said, hey, you know, you're the foreman, like, you know, and I actually, let's go back. I went to him when he said he was the foreman. I assumed, like, hey, listen, he's going to take over this job. That's cool. I'm fine with it. The dude would not speak to the facility engineer who was in charge, basically, who had us, you know, do the work, and he's looking out, you know, he's looking over us and stuff, watching us do our work, and, you know, checking in on us once in a while. But, you know, he didn't want to talk to the engineer. He didn't want to, like, order material when we were running low on, like, wire nuts or connectors. You know, he didn't want to order more 1900 boxes. And his answer was, and I said, listen, I said, yo, dude, we need this, we need that. Can you order some? You know what his answer would be? I'm just a worker. I'm not the foreman. I'm just here to work. That blew my mind. That blew my mind. Like, I was stuck in a standstill at that point. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, you know, I'm a mechanic. I'm thinking to myself, okay, what do I do now? How do I go about this? Well, I had another mechanic who came to me and started asking me questions like, yo, dude, we need material. Can you order this? Can you order that? And then I told him, well, you got to speak to this guy, but it seems like he doesn't want to do it. So I'm going to see if I could order material. So I took the reins. But then he was confused. He was like, okay, who do I listen to? Do I listen to him or do I listen to you? Site engineer came and said, hey, I'm going to deal with you more, John, because, you know, we've been talking more. We communicate better. I don't know what your foreman's doing. So it came to a point where I was ordering material, picking it up. I would call the office, communicate with them, coordinate with them, tell them, look, this is how long it's taking us to do this and that, this and that. You know, oh, this is the amount of time we need. It was just crazy. And then it just like the guy just started slowly not showing up. Okay. I became a foreman, and the guy had a problem with it. He had a problem with the fact that he was leaving early because he started clocking out because we get an app on our phone from the company. They issue us an app for us to clock in and clock out. And the office started seeing, like, from their office, like, oh, wait, why is he clocking in late? Why is he clocking out early? And I had to tell him, well, he's coming in this time, leaves early. So basically he's staying in for like 4 hours a day. The guy had a problem with me because he, quote unquote, I ratted him out to the boss. He would always tell me, because usually when our guys, we come in, we sign in a sign-in sheet. It records the time we actually came in, and then we punch in on the app. And that's why it has to be the app and the sign-in sheet had to be exactly the same, because if it's not, there's an issue with payments and stuff, paying us. So that became an issue. The guy had some beef with me temporarily, had a problem with me, and I said, listen, dude, you're not showing up on time. What do you want me to do? He tells me, Joe, if I'm running late, sign me in. I cannot sign you in. If I sign you in and you clock in at a different time, that's going to make it look really bad on your end and on mine, because I'm not only lying for you, I'm lying to the company, and I can get in trouble. Okay? I'm in the middle of it. So I had to tell him, listen, I'm now appointed foreman because you are not stepping up. You are not doing foreman work. You're not being a foreman. You're not being a leader. So this is what's going to happen. You come in late, you sign in the time you come in late, and then you clock in. None of that bullshit about me signing you in. Okay? You get your paycheck is whacked now because that's your fault. You come in late, you're going to get paid what the time you do here. You leave early, you're going to get paid the time you spent on the job. Okay? It doesn't work that way. All right? So, guy had 15 years in it, has beef with me about it. I tell him how things are in this industry. You need to be more responsible. Dude, the dude's 15 years in. He's like 50-something years old. You should know better. Why are you acting like a child? His excuses are, I got a little girl. I got to go drop her off at preschool. Who drops off that kid in the middle of summer in July in preschool? Obviously, eventually, long story short, it turns out he was coming in late and leaving early so he can go to a side job. Basically, that was it. All right, so sorry about that. I'm moving on. So, anyway, the point of that story is, don't come late, okay? Be punctual, all right? Don't think you're a know-it-all. You're not a know-it-all. You don't know crap. You don't know diddly squat. You're coming in there fresh-minded, clean slate, wanting to learn, okay? You're going to be polite. Obviously, you're going to have manners. You're going to stay quiet and listen to your foreman or mechanic that you're working under, okay? Whatever the foreman or mechanic gives you to do, especially when it's the foreman sees a new guy comes in, he puts him on materials. He's like, you're going to organize, you're going to know every piece of material in here, okay? If you have a problem with it and you want to do more electrical work, you think you're even better than all these guys, do me a favor. Cut it off, man. Cut that thought off. If you're sitting there right now nodding at me, man, you're full of yourself. You are full of yourself right now. You're kidding yourself. You're a joke, okay? You got to consider yourself as a joke. Me, I didn't come in full, all half-cocked and everything like that. I came in, I wanted to learn. I said, all right, I'm going to listen to my foreman. I'm like, okay, what do you need me to do? Be assertive. Be like, hey, you come in there on the job site, you look for the foreman and say, hey, I'm new here. What do you need me to do? What would you like me to do? Let them know what your skill level is. Let them know you know basic. At least that you know some knowledge of electrical, okay? But at the same time, just remember, you don't know diddly squat, okay? You're coming in learning. Tell him how much you know so he could put you on certain tasks that you can manage. Like if you know how to put a switch on, you know how to install a switch, and you can do it correctly, If you do it one time right, he'll know to trust you that you can do the rest of them the same way. If he puts you on receptacle outlets and you're good with that, okay? And he sees that you're putting in the time, he's going to trust you to do receptacle outlets properly, okay? Let him know that you're hungry. Let the foreman or the mechanic or whoever, your boss, know you're hungry. You want to learn, okay? None of this, well, I deserve this much and you don't pay me enough to do this. None of that. You cut that off, okay? When I came in here, if I said that, I mean, I've heard and seen guys say it, and man, they were gone. They were gone, okay? When I was in trade school, my last day in school, we're sitting down. People from the office come in and say, "Oh, this is how the hiring procedure goes. How interviews are going to go. They're going to show you how to conduct. They're going to show you how a job interview is conducted in this industry. How you're going to dress up. What you're going to say. What you're going to do. They're going to tell you like you got to be there 30 minutes or at least 10 minutes early. Usually I'm there 30 minutes. I'm an early bird type of guy. I got to be there early. You know, that's just me. It just shows that I'm punctual and then, I care and I'm willing and able to learn. I'm eager. Until this day, I'm still eager to learn more stuff, new stuff. Like it doesn't matter. When you're in this trade, understand this. You're gonna learn new stuff every day. Every day. Okay? All right. Now, if you're coming in and you got your pants halfway down your ass or your ankles or whatever, you're coming in sloppy, right? Shirt all hung out, not tucked in. Listen, I used to get crap for guys, looking professional because when I started in the industry, in the general trade like HVAC, when I went to school, we had to wear a uniform for our trade. We wore like a tan brownish shirt with dark brown pants. We looked like technicians. We had the school logo. We even had patches for certain classes we excelled at. All right. It just showed our level of education in the trade while we're in school. So, and employers see that. Some employers see that. They come, they recruit, and they see how you are, and they invest in you. So we wore uniforms. Apex, not so much. We wore whatever you want to wear. But you got to come in looking professional either way. When you're out of trade school, if your trade school doesn't require uniforms to wear, understand when you come to a job, there is clothing you need to wear on the job. You need to have boots, okay? Work boots, not sneakers that look like boots. Work boots, like not the Timberland brand. Don't buy no Timberlands. Expensive $90, $100, $200 Timberland boots, okay? That's just style crap. That's like, get boots that are meant for the job site, okay? Get yourself insulated work boots. Sure, you can get steel toe, but make sure it's insulated. They have steel toe that is not insulated, and that could be very dangerous for electricians. Okay, if you're doing electrical work and it's not an insulated steel toe work boot, you're in trouble. You will ground yourself and you will get killed. Okay. They even get yourself even a composite toe shoe. It's like steel toe, but it's like a hardened plastic resin composite type material. That's fine too. So yeah, protection on your feet. Make sure when you're carrying your tools, you got eyewear, or the employer, your job, your boss will provide you that PPE. Make sure you're wearing work pants. I like sometimes to wear Smith's carpenter jeans. I can put my phone in my pocket, some tools and stuff like that. But usually jeans is not the way to go working in electrical. You want to wear like slacks, like Dickies. Dickies got work pants. They're real comfortable. I have a pair. Yes, rubber insoles also are a good insulator in your boots, so make sure they're rubber type insoles. Make sure they're comfortable. You don't want a boot that's not comfortable, and then you're gonna complain and moan and bitch all the time about, oh, I'm tired, this and that. Make sure they're comfortable and they'll last, and your feet feel like they're on clouds and stuff. Um, what else? Gloves. Your employer, and if you have your own work gloves, leather gloves are fine too, but they will deteriorate over time after like 6 months or so. Um, Make sure you have a hard hat. If you don't have a hard hat, your employer, your job will provide it. Um, just make sure you have tools. Like if you're starting out apprentice, don't come in with like brand new tools. Like don't even come in with expensive tools that you're probably in your first year are not gonna, or the first couple of months are not gonna use. Use what you have. Like if you're coming out of trade school and they provided you tools in trade school, which they do, because I went to trade school twice and they did provide tools to start off. Use those tools. It doesn't have to be expensive name brand. You are an apprentice. You're getting paid minimum wage. Okay, don't expect that you're gonna get paid 20 something an hour, 28 an hour, 25, 30, whatever. It's not happening. You're here to learn and to grow. Okay, when you come in, you're working, make sure you're eager to learn, because once they trust you with a task and you're able to do it as well, and it's not just organizing. Organizing is one part of it. You learn the material, and if they see that you're into it, you're able to get the material to the mechanic real quick because you're starting to understand what it's for and how it's used, they're gonna put you on task. They're gonna have you do wire pull. The next thing, that's wire pull. Wire pulling. It's the simplest thing. You're going to help a mechanic pull wire. He's going to show you what type of wires you're going to pull today, what they're used for. You know, he may even show you the amperage. Like, okay, you use number 10 for 30 amps. You use number 12 for 20 amps, or in 15s, or 14s if you're working in residential in upstate New York or certain parts of Staten Island. And in suburban homes like in Long Island, some areas allowed to use Romex or 14.2 or 14.3. You're gonna learn how did that 14 gauge wires for 15 amp breakers. They're rated for 15 amps. For lighting, 14.2 is used for lighting. 12 gauge is used for receptacle outlets, or vice versa. You can use it also for lighting as well. New York City, we don't use Romex in New York City. We use MC, or in some cases BX. We use number 12 wire. We don't use 14 gauge wire unless specified. All right. Let me go to the comments real here in the chat. So Zayfiel says cost of living in NYC is crazy. It is, bro. It's dog eat dog, bro. In this trade, it's dog eat dog. Foreman on site is actually the one to delegate tasks and order materials. If they're going to let someone slack, it's up to them. You got a good point. The foreman will dictate how you work and who you're with working, like who you are in the job site. Like he's watching you like a hawk, okay? He's making sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and you're doing it right, correctly. Okay, if you're working with, you're paired with a mechanic, he's going to make sure you're learning as much as possible from that mechanic. Okay, he's going to evaluate you. Understand this: when you're with a company and you're an apprentice out of trade school, and this, I'm telling you guys from trade school, and along with, and if you guys are helpers, never went to trade school, and you're just learning this, listen to this as well. He's going to evaluate you. The mechanic is evaluating you. They're gonna evaluate on your timeliness, if you come in to work on time or early. He's gonna pay attention to your attentiveness to detail. He's gonna make sure that you know your material, that you are responsible, you're reliable, you're dependable. They want to know that, hey, if you're going to become the go-to guy, or you're going to become the guy that's going to stay a couple, maybe for some OT, like an hour or two, trust me, if a foreman tells you or asks you, hey, can you stay for like another hour or 2 hours on the job, we'll put in overtime, and you say no, they're not, or your boss, for instance, they say, hey, the foreman comes and said the boss wants to know if you want to stay. If you say no, he's gonna tell the boss, yeah, he doesn't want to. The boss is gonna say, you know what? He doesn't have the hunger. He doesn't have the strive. He's testing you at this point. So if you say yes, and you stay for those 2 hours, you're putting in the time. You're putting in the time, man. You're logging in your hours. When I mean you're logging in your hours, that means you're putting the hour time you're staying there to work, to learn the job, to learn how to do the job. Okay? You're logging in that time. You're logging in your experience. Okay? Do it. Don't be like, well, I want to go smoke weed with my boys and I want to hang out with my boys and go dancing and go clubbing. Oh, man. Listen. When I was in my 20s, my mid-20s, starting electrical trade, I never went partying like that. I never, even my early 20s when I was doing HVAC, I know I wanted to make money. And I liked doing what I was doing. I was doing HVAC, and then I switched over to electrical, and I like them both. I love fixing stuff. I love fixing things with my hands, putting it together, fabricating, making it work. Okay? I didn't have much interest in partying or going out and, I had friends. I went out, play video games and stuff like that, and hung out, and then, or get together with family. But I wasn't like the type that go to clubs or go bar hopping. I'm not a drinker. I'm not a smoker. I don't do any of that crap. There's no, I don't see the point in all that. To me, I don't see the point. Like, it looks exhausting to me. I put my time and energy in the trade, because I know I was going to make a career out of it. This is going to be a career. It's not just a job. Now, you don't want to be living paycheck to paycheck. Listen, I work with guys who constantly complain about how much they're getting paid. They don't care about the job. They don't care about where they're going to go with it. They just care about the money and the paycheck. So they're going to live paycheck to paycheck. And they're not going to get anywhere. They're going to be stuck there. Okay? Me, I put in the time. I stepped up. Right? I stepped up even when other mechanics don't want that responsibility. When there was a position opened at a job I was on, it was a hotel job. All right, I'm going to make it, this is a perfect example. My foreman needed a sub foreman. We had a good project manager, and he was the foreman on that job. Before he was a sub foreman, we had a previous foreman who was pretty much a jerk, thought he knew everything, and then just up and left. So he became the new foreman. He needed a sub foreman. So he went around talking to guys. And then he came, and the guys would say, no, I'm not interested. I don't want that job. No, it's too much responsibility. No, sub foreman job. It's not like you're a foreman yet. You're a sub foreman. You are assisting the foreman. You're helping him out. Okay? You're learning from the foreman to become a foreman. Okay? At that point, you're going to learn how to lead small groups of guys, a small team, 2 or more, to do tasks under the foreman's, you're going to be under his tutelage too, but you're going to do it under his orders in a sense. You're going to say, hey, you're going to take these 2 guys and you're going to be in charge of doing the AC connections or, running wire for the ACs and installing, running, powering up these AC units. So we got 4 units. Can you take these 2 guys and lead the charge on that while I take care of this? He's going to trust you to do that. You're going to follow and you're going to lead those guys to do it. Then you have a lead mechanic, okay? You got a lead mechanic who's going to be the guy that's going to be like, you got a bunch of other mechanics, but the lead mechanic isn't like above the mechanics. Basically, he's going to be like walking around like the foreman, making sure you got what you need, making sure you're doing the installation correctly too. Because if you got a lead mechanic, that lead mechanic is supposed to be up there and know the code as well as how the installation is supposed to be done. Okay? So he's walking around. Back to the story. He's walking around. He's like, oh, I need a sub foreman. At the time I was just I thought I was just a junior mechanic at the time. So I'm hearing and I'm watching these guys and they're like, nah, they don't want the position. And it's like, damn. And I said, you know what? This is my opportunity. I'm going to step in. I'm going to step up. And I did. I told him, I said, yo, Kev, definitely, I will be your sub foreman. I want to learn how to become a foreman. All right? I will help you. I want to help build this company what it could really become, you know. And I want to learn, and if you're not here, somebody has to take charge, okay? And I did that. When he had to leave because he had a kid, he had a new baby on the way, he had to leave for like a week. I took charge for the entire week, okay? I was nervous. I was acting foreman. I learned enough to know what I had to do. Now, I'm not saying I knew everything about being a foreman. I just learned enough from him as he was away. I followed guidelines. I followed tasks, look aheads. I worked with the project manager. We worked together on it. We put guys certain tasks. I had to learn how to estimate how long one guy could do a hotel room, one of the hotel rooms, and two other guys on doing, the power packs and this and that, and then doing the AC units. So we had a structure, and I learned through that structure. I had to learn how to deal with situations where we come across an obstacle. Who do I have to speak to? I had to go to the project. I had to go to the project manager. From the project manager, also, if he wasn't there, I had to go to the GC, the super, discuss with the super, go on the phone with the project, tell them like, hey, we came across this issue. We have two solutions, or one of the two solutions is not working out. So we're gonna try this thing, and we just need. Well, it's gonna take a little more time, so it might be a change order. We have to, all that stuff. We had to coordinate. I had to learn how to coordinate with other trades too. It's not just the GC super. You got to learn to coordinate with the plumber, the plumber foreman, the welders, the HVAC mechanics, the duct guys, the carpenters, the mill workers, the framers. You got to work with all these guys. I was learning how to work with them until my foreman came back and he said to me, "Dude, thank you for holding it down for me. Thank you. You did an awesome job. Good looking out." That felt so good to hear that. So I had that experience, and that was like 3 years ago. Now the jobs I've been on, when they assign a foreman, they got a foreman, the foreman assigns a sub foreman, and then a lead mechanic. Yo, Conan man, what's up? So it was tough on the job that I was in the city. I've been on a job where they had a sub foreman but didn't do sub foreman work. He just wanted to work. He didn't want to take responsibility for daily huddles, conducting OSHA toolbox talks, making sure everybody was signing in. I was basically left with so much responsibility that, not as much as the foreman. The foreman had a lot of responsibility, but I was acting lead mechanic. I was in charge of tool inventory. I was in charge of material. I was in charge of picking up material, making sure the ticket, everything was there before it was brought into the job site. Everything was listed there on the material order packing slip, and we got everything, confirming everything we got, making sure we didn't get the wrong material. I was in charge of, basically I was also in charge of that material. I would go around with the foreman and write stuff down, what needed to get done. I was an acting sub foreman at the same time. So I was like all four of these things, and I'm thinking to myself, why the hell did this guy step in as foreman? They gave him a shirt that said sub foreman, not foreman, sub foreman. They gave him a shirt that says with the company name, and it said sub foreman, but didn't want to do the job. Okay? So this is just an example of how you can step up and be valuable to the business, to a company. Yeah, sure, they're not going to pay me as much, but I'm stepping up. I'm trying to show my worth, and you should be doing that. Don't ask, oh, you need to pay me more. Don't go to your boss and say, I feel like you should pay me more, and with an attitude. Be punctual, be polite, be professional. You may be making $15 now, but I guarantee you, if you come in with the right attitude, with the hunger. You know, you get along with everybody, you listen, you watch, you listen, and you just do the job, and you're efficient. You come in on every day on time, and you're efficient, and you're reliable, you're dependable, and you're getting all these remarks. I'm sure within 3 months' time, you're going to get a raise. Okay? 3 months' time, you will get a raise. I guarantee you will get a raise. And you will start feeling that you're worth something in the company. You're worth being there. You're worth it. Okay? Now, you don't stop. I suggest you don't stop at that. Your raise maybe from 15 to 18 an hour. Okay? Or 15 to like they bump you up to like $16.50 or $17. Don't stop there. Keep going with your repertoire. You may even get more responsibility, but step up. Okay? And if you have an issue or you feel like you cannot step up to certain tasks because maybe you're feeling overwhelmed, let your foreman know. Hey, listen, I don't think I can do this task. I don't think I can step up and do this. I feel like I'm not ready yet. I'm not there yet. But I'm going to learn, but I'm not there yet. Let them know. Be honest. Don't lie. Don't take up a task that you think you're gonna. You think you're the man. You think you're gonna do it and get it done. But then in reality, you're like, oh man, this is too much. You're gonna look pretty silly. Let your foreman know. Let your boss know what are your limits. At that point, tell them, hey, like for me, for instance, I got 8 years in. I should be a foreman. Okay, but I've been a sub foreman once, but I want to continue on with the sub foreman position because I want to learn. It's the best way to learn. I became a lead mechanic. I want to be a sub foreman and learn to be a foreman. We have a really good foreman in my job. I worked alongside him, and I want to work with him even more. He's a great guy. He's funny as hell. When off the job, he's funny. He's hilarious. He's a good dude to talk to. He makes everybody laugh. But when it comes down to the nitty gritty of it, like I really like to learn from him, like his experience. Like I will follow him until I get everything down packed. Okay. Then when I feel like I'm ready, I'm gonna approach my boss. Or you can approach your boss and say, "Hey, listen. Here's where I am at now. I want to start running jobs. I feel like I've been in a sub foreman long enough. I want to take the reins on a job. Start off, maybe he'll start you off small. I like to start small and then work my way up. What I'm trying to say is, in all retrospects, all right, when you're coming in as an apprentice, you're going to climb the ladder. You're not going to start from the top of the ladder. No. You're gonna start from the bottom of the ladder, the bottom rung, and then you're gonna climb. You're gonna climb. And if your boss or your foreman, your boss sees, or your project manager sees how like you're really putting in the time, they're gonna run to the boss, the head, the CEO, the boss, and say, "Hey, this guy, he's worth it. I think it's best we invest in this guy." Climb the ladder. Don't expect that you're gonna be on top. You're starting down, and you're working your way up. All right. So none of this mentality. You're walking in there. I've seen guys who work from the hood. Brooklyn area and like Brownsville and stuff. They come in the train. They're like, "Oh yeah, bro. I know. I come in here. I want to expect to get paid." No, listen. If you're watching this right now, this live stream, I'm gonna tell you right now. Cut that bull crap off, man. Cut it off. I'm telling you right, it's not gonna work. Now, some think, oh, they're paying me less because they're racist. No, that's not the case. And that's the thing I hate the most because, even I'm Hispanic. Okay, I even have Hispanic guys come in and they feel like, oh, well, they're doing it because they're racist. No, they're not. I started down from the bottom. I'm working my way up to the top. Even now, I'm still working my way up to the top. I'm not going to sugarcoat and say, yeah, I'm making the big bucks. Listen, I'm still learning every day. I'm still being there for my boss. If he needs me for something, I'm going to do it. I'm showing my worth. He's going to rely on me. He's going to want me to be the A guy, one of his A men, like top A+ guys. You know, I've been in. I work for a company called Leader Electric. I've been with them for 4 years. Okay. Hopefully by July I'll still be here. I'll make 5. Um, you know, we got good guys, and some guys come and go. I've seen guys come and go. We got good guys who come and they go. We got good guys who are really good and they stay. Now, I don't know what the reason why, but my reason is because I want to get more involved. This is an opportunity where, right now things are getting a little slow, but I'm going to take this opportunity to get more involved in the company. I'm going to invest myself in this. Invest yourself in this. Yes, definitely. I'm investing in this. I'm investing in myself, because you invest yourself, you become more knowledgeable, you become more valuable, you're worth a lot more. And the business will invest in you. And you will invest in the business. What I mean by investing in business, you're investing your time, you're investing your if they have a retirement plan, you're putting in money in that retirement. You're taking money out of your paycheck, putting money, you're investing in that. Okay? You're investing time and energy with this business, with the company. That's what I'm doing. I see a lot of potential where I work. There may be there are some bad things that they lack in, but I'm not going to say. There are some good things they're good at. But it's a business. Every business is like that. There's bad and there's good. Okay? Understand this, please. You come in, don't expect too much. Expect, okay? What you're gonna expect is the boss, the foreman, and the mechanic are gonna expect a lot from you. Okay? If you're coming in here to the job and you're saying, well, I deserve this, deserve that, you're in the wrong business. You need to leave. All right? You're in the wrong business. You need to do something else. Okay? Guys who are from ghetto, the hood and all that. I was from the hood. I mean, I sound like I was from the hood. Bushwick, Brooklyn was hood. Like, I grew up, in part of that. I stood there for a couple of years, born and partially raised, and then I moved to Queens, and there's hood areas in Queens too. I learned to toughen up, okay? But I don't ever go to my employer who hired me and say, yeah, I deserve more, with an attitude. No, you come in with the mentality, a professional mentality, and you come in, you sit with them, be professional about it. You can be sincere if you want. You can be courteous, whatever. Just talk it out, all right? The attitude's got to go out the window. And if you bring it to the job site and you have disagreements with a journeyman, your apprentice, or journeyman, or mechanic and stuff, and you wanna be a know-it-all, it's not for you. Go home. Okay, go home. I'm telling you right now. Another thing, don't be on your phone. Nothing irks me more that a helper / apprentice is on his or her phone. Okay, I don't care if you're a female. That's nothing. We do get females in the industry, and if you're coming in as an apprentice, you're on your phone constantly, on your Instagram, taking selfies. Listen, sweetheart, you're not here for that. You're here to make some money. You're here to produce. You're here to produce. Okay, show the boss that you're worth time and money. Okay, to get things done. If you're not producing, you're out. You're gonna be jumping from job to job. Okay, so hear me on this, okay? If you need to watch this video again, this stream again, watch it again. I don't care, but I guarantee you enough. If you do the total opposite of what you just heard of, like guys coming in late, giving attitude and stuff like that, and arguing with the foreman and the journeyman, if you do the total opposite of that and do the right thing, I guarantee you will get more money. You'll be more valuable. You'll be trusted. And there'll be more work in line for you in the future. Okay? All right. So, if you guys have any questions, I'm willing to answer them right now. But if you want to answer them, if you want them answered in the comments, you can leave it in the comment section down below, or you can email me directly. My email is in the description box down below at jonathalelectric1@gmail.com. Another thing, also, I would, no, I shouldn't say it because I'm not really sponsored by anyone. But I will be promoting some advertisement. I didn't really get permission for this, and I shouldn't really. But I do this because, like I said, I'm helping out my employer. I did mention before I work for a company called Leader Electric, and we take all residential, commercial, and industrial work. If you have any needs of any electrical work being done in your home, please call us. Gee, I should have the information here. You can call us. Our service department number for services 212-665-0600. That's our service department. If you want to have any contract work done, it's 212-665-0606. Okay. That's Leader Electric, not Leader, Leeder. It's LE, like follow the leader. The song Follow the Leader. Yeah. That's what I always say about people. Like, it's follow the leader when they ask me, well, who do you work for? Leader Electric. Leader? Like, yeah, follow the leader. We're based in Manhattan. If you live in the 5 boroughs, give us a call. All right, give them a call, and if you want like light fixtures put up, if you want cameras, CCTV cameras put in, we specialize in like troubleshooting new construction, violations being removed, fire alarm security, CHP generator systems, remodeling, renovations, intercoms, and 220 volt services, voice, data, and audio, video, AC lines, air conditioner, boiler, and motor controls. Okay, so yeah, we base on that. So give us a call. We will, you can talk to, just ask for Agnes or Neil or Travis. They're basically they're the people that own the business. It's like a family owned business, mom and pop type shop, I guess you could say. But we do get contracts. We get big work. We do big jobs. We do small jobs, whatever. So give us a call. The number again is service. The service number is 212-665-0600. And of course, if you want contract work done, big projects done, it's 212. I'm assuming it's big projects. 212-665-0606. No, they don't pay me to do this. I probably will get in trouble for this, but I'm just trying to help out the business as well. We do pretty good work. We have really good guys. So give us a call. Give them a call. All right, and yeah, that's about does it. I guess I'm gonna close. I'm gonna just close up and say that. And let me just read the rest of the comments here. So Conan Man Studios, what's up, Conan Man? Let's just go back to the chat right here. Yo John, he says, Dibble is off eating and looking for copper light fixtures, I think. Safe AL says, I am the man, the Kona man. Yeah, Kona man. John, don't forget. Oh, excuse me. Don't forget, you should ask your boss, where do you see me in 3 more years? You have to find out where he wants you at the time to save to meet his expectations. Worse, he has any at all. I see where you're going with this. So that's really good advice too. If you're watching this stream, listen, if you got questions and I can't give it to you at the moment, you can ask right here in the live chat. There are guys who work for professional contractors who know. They started from the bottom, they worked their way up. So ask them as well. You can ask them advice as well. I don't mind that. It doesn't have to be from me. It can be the guys from the chat. But yes, when you sit down, you want to have a raise. You haven't seen a raise in like a year or two, or maybe a couple of months. Maybe, they give raises every 6 to 8 months, and you haven't seen one. Be polite. Call the office. Hey, can we set up a meeting between me and you, boss? Can we sit down and talk? When are you free? And after you set it up, you go to his office, you sit down with them and say, hey, I've been here for either X amount of months or X amount of years. And, I want to I want to know what, what are, you know, how I'm doing. You know, am I doing good? Do you like me? Do you like the work I do? Where do you see me 3 years from now? Do you expect me, do you expect me to, do more, you know, in 3 years? And tell them like, tell them your price. Like, hey, if your boss, at times you're gonna come with employers who can't like they'll be like you'll come across a boss that's like a real like piece of shit. To be honest with you, I've had those. I've been with companies with bosses who are really jerks, and they just kind of like use you and your skills as you develop more skills, and they pay you, and they stop paying you. Let's say they give you only like 2 raises out of like the 4 years you've worked or 5 years you worked for them, and then they're like, you're wondering when's your next raise, but yeah, you're hearing guys are getting raised left and right, and you feel like you're taking for a ride. Talk to your boss, and let them know. Listen, I got an offer. If you get an offer, or you start looking, you get an offer, sit with them, nicely, and just say, hey, I want to know how I'm doing, this and that. Get the pleasantries out of the way, and then and then get down to business. Say, hey, what's it gonna take for me to stay here longer? You know, let them know, because once you say that, they in their mind they're thinking, whoa, he's gonna ask, he's ready to ask for a raise. I gotta come up with a price. I gotta think of something to keep this guy. He is good, you know. Or sometimes you get bosses and you say that to them, they're really, really jerks and miserable, and they say, you know what, if you're not happy, you can leave. They'll say that. And I've had a boss say that to me, and it's not cool. It took me off guard. I was really professional while I was talking to him. I sat down with him, and he got upset with me and said, listen, if you're not happy, you can go somewhere else and work. That's what he told me. I wasn't giving him attitude. You can be straight up with him, no attitude whatsoever, and be sincere. And they'll give. And if he's like the type of boss that's like always miserable, like he doesn't care, he's a jerk. Listen, if he tells you that, start looking for another job. That means he doesn't see your worth. He doesn't see how hard you work and how much you are valued. You're gonna take that. You're gonna take what you know. You're gonna take your worth elsewhere. All right, look for another job, and when you do, put 2 weeks notice. I've seen guys who just like up and leave all the time because they complain they're not getting paid enough. They half the time they don't even sit with the boss or call and say, hey, can we talk? Can we talk and schedule an appointment where I can talk to you? And that's the right way of doing things. That is the professional way, because when you say that, when you call your boss or call whoever in the office is in charge, and you let them know and say, hey, can we set up a meeting with the boss? I have some questions I want to ask, and just basically talk, just talk, and see where I'm at, and they'll be like, oh yeah, sure, let's schedule this day. They tell the boss, or if your boss hears you say that, he's gonna say, wow, okay, he wants to talk to me, okay, that's cool. Like, he knows you're a professional. You're not being aggressive. Okay, don't be aggressive. Don't be too aggressive. Sometimes you can be aggressive when you talk about raises and stuff. When it comes down to interview, be a little aggressive with the money. If you know your worth, be aggressive. If you're an apprentice, you're starting out, you slipped it bad with a company because they just didn't care about you, and you go with another company that really wants to put the time on you and wants you to do the time for them, and they see that you have the skills. Don't get upset and aggressive with them. Talk to them and say, or be honest. Be the honest type. Like, if you don't know certain things, be honest with them. Let them know. You're gonna learn along the ways down the road how to approach your employer. And the employees and other employees, and how you talk to them, like your foreman and the higher ups, basically. And you're gonna learn how to speak. You're gonna learn um, how to coordinate, how to just basically work with them, be a team player, learn from them. All right. So yeah, that about does it. I think I covered nearly everything on that. Another thing, one more thing. As an apprentice, okay, if someone comes across you and say, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" You say, I'm an electrician." Um, and they offer you side work, don't do it. Okay, don't do it unless you can guarantee the work. Now, if you are approached as like, "Oh, it's just a light fixture, it's a switch," it could be more to it than that. Okay, if you don't have troubleshooting skills, okay, you should, and someone offers you some side work, you should not be doing side work. Okay, put in the time. Put in the time now. Okay, work on the weekends if you have to. When I first started, I started working on weekends. When the boss said, "Hey, I need guys for the weekends," I put my hand up and said, "Hey, I'm all in." Okay, I'm all in. I'll come Saturday. I'll come Sunday. Hell, I'll work the whole week if you need me to. Okay, put in the time, put in the dedication, care about what you do. Don't look at this trade as just a job to get a paycheck. Okay? This is going to be your career. This is going to be your life. You're in it for life, okay? If you love what you do, I love what I do. I love what I do. I love reading about the code. I love being technical. Like, knowledge is power, okay? And there's a saying, the more you learn, the more you earn, okay? Stick with that. The more you learn, the more you earn, okay? That's where it's at right now, all right? And I promise you, the money's going to be there. The money's going to be there. But it's not always going to be about the money. It's just going to be, to me, part of it is, but mostly it's the job. I love it. I love to just hop in the van, go to a service call, or go to a job site and really put in my time. Like I just love like seeing construction, the metal, the the smell of construction, to go in there and do what you were trained and what the experience you have to do it, to get it done. All right. I'm gonna go through the comments one more time here in the chat. I'm gonna read it. Conan Man. Oh, Zayfiel says, "Go Conan Man Studio. Boss will be polishing your boots in 3 years." Conan Man says, "John, I need the camera put in front of my house. Can we get a for installation, Tampa, Florida?" I'm not sure where you're going with that. Where's my freaking ham sandwich? Where's your ham sandwich? I keep telling you I don't got no more ham. Oh man, but I listen. Your last question, Kona Man, that you say I need the camera put in front of my house. Can we get a for installation Tampa, Florida? I'm not sure what that means. Could you do me this one favor, bro? Can you type it in, please? I beg you, just type it in. Listen, I know you're using the voice, the voice, and sometimes it's a little off. It doesn't catch everything when you're trying to say exactly. But can you just type it in? Like, I'm sorry, dude. I'm trying to understand your question. You're listen, man. You're my bro, but sometimes I can't I can't answer your question if I don't really understand it. I'm trying to decipher it, but it's a little sketchy. It's a little vague there. But this is all the time I have right now because I gotta go right now and do some errands. I'm a little late on my errands, guys. I just thought I'd bring this video out there. Don't forget. Oh man, I don't know how many times I'm gonna do this. Listen, please don't forget to subscribe before you leave. If you like what you see, smash the like button. Okay. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. It's a little red button right next to the bell. There's a little bell notification next to that. It's the subscription button. Tap. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you go to the bell notification after that and hit all notifications, because you just don't want to personalize and get some. Then you miss out on some important info, or miss out something that you really want to know, and now you're just kind of like, oh man, I wish I had that info sooner. If only I had my notifications on all. do that for me. All right. Listen, and also don't forget, call us. We will. We also do emergency service calls. By the way, we do emergency service calls. All right. So call in. Let us know what you need done, or I wouldn't say us, but even though I'm part of the company, I work for them. But let them know what you need done, and ask and tell them, hey, Jonathan from KleinGuy Jon sent us. Tell them if you live in the five boroughs in New York City. Okay. I'm here in Staten Island. We mostly don't do Staten Island, but if you live in Staten Island, I'm here. Let them know. Let them know. Jonathan from KleinGuy Jon sent you. All right. All right, guys. Sorry to take up so much time. And as always, okay, I need you all to stay safe out there. All right. Because you never know what you're gonna run into. All right. Again, always remember, wear your personal protective equipment. Watch each other's back. Help one another out. And I'll see you guys next time, all right? Listen, enjoy your weekend. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 12 p.m. Sunday Fun Day Q&A. All right? So, and if you're working, if you're a weekend warrior, crunch time, my mans or gals. Crunch time. Later, everybody. I gotta go.
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.